Thank you so much, Michael. And thank you, of course. This is a great honor, and I'm really honored to be here. I just want to argue with Michael a little bit. He says that it's much easier to write comedy now. I think it's much harder to write comedy now. I think, when I see that tiny-handed, pin-dicked, Muslim-banning, Mexican-hating, pussy-grabbing, talking yam on the TV, I can't think comedy. I think I want to haul the eyeballs out of his head and pop them up his behind so that even he can see how big of an arsehole he really is. But I realize, of course, there's no point to that because he already knows how big of an arsehole he is, and he doesn't care. That's the thing. It's like my favorite Newfoundland joke. There was a guy from St. John's who was looking for a horse. He went down to Fairyland. He saw this beautiful meadow flowing down to the ocean with one white horse in the middle of it. He found the farmer. The farmer said he'd sell it to him. He called over "Here, Dobbin, there's only one thing in the middle of the meadow, a big tree." Dobbin comes galloping across the meadow, boom, whacks himself right in the head in the tree. Buddy from St. John's is outraged. He goes, "What are you at? You're trying to sell me a blind horse." Buddy from Fairyland says, "No, boy," he says, "Dobbin's not blind, he just don't give a fuck." and neither apparently does Mr. Trump. Anyway, it's gobs of fun, of course, to always be looking over there. It's like when I used to drink, I always made sure I went out drinking with someone who was a lot worse than me, because I go, "Oh, I'm bad. I'm not as bad as Murr." I didn't end up in the lockup. But this year, for the sesquicentennial, I was given the opportunity to do a show, a musical review show that I wrote with Thomas King, with Quantum Tangle, who won the Best Indigenous Album in 1917. Thank you, Mary. No, 2017. With Marie Clement and with an extraordinary group of people. And I learned, it was like an eye-opening experience for me. I used to always say, without really thinking, I'd say, well, John Cabot discovered Newfoundland and Jacques Cartier discovered Canada. And I read this quote from a Dene chief who said, "It's really hard to discover a place that's already fully occupied." He said, "It'd be like if I decided to go over and discover England, and it had never really, and I always think of myself as woke, but it had never even occurred to me that I was just talking like that, right? Anyway, I did learn quite a lot from doing that, and Canada's great genius, Northrop Frye, said a people is formed by its geography. And just look at us. I mean, we are rotted out with geography. We're practically choked on oceans. We got 3 of them. We got the big, awe-inspiring, that huge northern mystery behind us, and 9,984,677 square kilometers of good earth. We are the second largest landmass in the entire world. Hegel said that all that history has taught us is that man learns nothing from history. But our own Northrop Frye said that we learn everything from our geography. And here we are, a people faced with an embarrassment of geographic riches. We have so much room to be accepting, to be tolerant, to throw open our arms, to be generous, room to celebrate all the things we did right, and room and time to fix all the mistakes we made in the past, room to be large in our dealings with the world and with each other. And to celebrate, as Emily Carr said, how wonderful it is to feel the grandness of Canada in the raw. Not because she is Canada, but because she is something sublime that we were lucky enough to be born into, some great rugged power that we are part of, thanks largely to our Indigenous brothers and sisters who, when the Europeans first arrived, they taught us how to live in this beautiful, forbidding glory of a country. Thank you. Thank you so much.